Welcome back, everybody, to a brand new episode of The Lookout. I'm, of course, Meelz. I am up very, very early, but not earlier than this man, my co-host, LJ. What is up, bro?
I'm good. It is a very early morning here in LA. But listen.
Why are you there, if you don't mind me asking?
Just a slight weekend vacation. Came to see my sister. Got to see my RNC family while I'm here.
Sure.
But no, just a quick little getaway. Nothing too crazy. I was just like, I'll come for a couple days and then it's back to the grind back to the grind tomorrow. Or technically, when we record this tomorrow, when y'all hear this, I'll already be back in cold St. Paul, Minnesota.
Is it really still cold? Well, yeah, I guess it is cold. Yeah.
Yeah, it's starting to get cold. You know what's funny is that, when obviously last year when I went to Anime NYC, I think about this all the time. Is you always tell me like, bro, why do you never have a jacket when you come out here? I'm like, do you not understand? It is like 30 degrees warmer here than it is back home. So this feels like spring, fall time to me.
I'll be honest with you. To me, that still doesn't make it right. whether I'm not gonna say like, for instance, let's say it was like negative 12 degrees where I live and it's still 2 degrees where I go visit. I'm not gonna say, hey, it's usually negative 12 around this time, so I'm good. Like, both of those degrees are still freezing cold and probably below where the body should experience for any long period of time. So I personally don't think it's, if whether it's 30 degrees, whether it's 0 degrees where I live, I'm wearing a jacket. So my threshold is about like 55, 65 degrees where I don't think I'm wearing a jacket anymore.
Really? Man, listen, I could probably hit 40 degrees and be all right. Anything lower than 40 though, I'm all right. The jacket got to come on. I
think you get looked at so crazy in New York City if it's 40 degrees and you're not wearing a jacket. Like, you get looked at more so, and don't get me wrong, because we'll always see the white guy running in
the shorts and in the tank top.
And to be honest with you, as someone who runs quite frequently, I get it now why he wouldn't want to be completely bundled up. Maybe it's just very, it's a little bit constricting, but also it's still wilding because if it's 40 degrees, I'm pretty insulated when I go run as well.
Do you have the winter? Do you have like the winter running gear, like the tights and the base layer and the?
No, because after a certain point, the cold gets so annoying that I don't want to run anymore. Like, I don't want to. I just don't want to run outside anymore. Like, at a certain point, it's like you're working against the elements of nature, as opposed to just focusing on the run itself. Now, there are people who can just like mentally tap out, but like if it gets too cold, I'm eventually gonna stop. I'm gonna be super sweaty, and then all the cold is going to pretty much really just kind of appear. So after about certain degrees, the coldest I've ever ran in is maybe like a little bit below 40 degrees. But otherwise, yes, I wouldn't recommend it. I would maybe do a walk. I could do a walk in like that many degrees if I'm bundled up and stuff, but even then you get sweaty.
Really? Yeah, I like winter running is a really big thing in Minnesota. Like,
I would imagine.
Like, that is, I mean, obviously, yes, we do have, but it's like, it's a real thing. Like, you really see people who go get like winter running shoes that are really like ACG like level,
of course,
technology all over them, and
because it's literally winter 8 months out of the year for you guys. So I would imagine that you guys.
We have a frozen 5K. You know what's crazy is that the 5K happens in March, and it's still like winter here in March. Like, March is technically our snowiest month. Usually we get the most snow in March.
See, that's a part of the universe I don't want to live in, to be honest.
No.
Where
this is I don't know what Dragon Ball Super variant we are, what Earth variant we are, but I don't like this one.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of like even I don't even like when it's like rainy for too long. I don't even like when it's rainy for like more than 3 days. I need sun. I need the snow here. I don't know about y'all. I'm pretty sure y'all have an effective. Why are we talking about weather on this show for so long? But I'm sure you guys have an effective like snow gathering remediation process. Where in New York, it's not that easy. Nor is it that it just feels because we have to walk everywhere. Because we have to do everything kind of like that. It's more so like we're gonna have to like trudge through snow and like wet snow and black ice and all types of other stuff. I hate snow in NYC in the winter. It's the worst.
Yeah, New York snow is real ugly. Y'all, it's just like, yeah, like you said, it's just black ice, it's slush, it's not cute. Like
Nah.
you're like fresh snow gets walking over and just trampled on so quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Anyway.
And that's the weather report with the lookout.
I mean, that is small talk for sure.
Quintessential small talk. How is the weather? I hate that the weather is because it's like small talk conversation. Like, bro, like why are we talking about this? We know we have 4 seasons out the year. We know when they come. Like, what's the weather? Like,
yeah, but if I mean, conversation you don't want to do small talk. You're trying to make it the most impersonal thing ever, and I feel like the most impersonal thing ever is the weather. Like something where you don't even have to go too much into yourself. Like, oh, it's cold. Yeah, man. I know, right? One of those days, hate coming into work, don't you? Like, so yeah, it's definitely one of those like impersonal qualifiers. I'm pretty sure sometime either today, tomorrow, another day, we're going to be talking about the weather at my job with people I don't quite know as often, but I'm in meetings with them all day. So
that's hilarious.
Who knows? Okay, so I'm glad you're in LA soaking up whatever weather that's in LA. Let's see. Have I been, last night, because I haven't done this exercise already. So Hunter x Hunter's back, Avi. Been back for a couple weeks now. I have not done the work in terms of rereading everything that happens between the end of the anime into whatever happens right now, because why would I? Hunter x Hunter's not even closed. It wasn't even active. Like, why would I subject myself to reading something that I know is going to be incomplete? But since it's going, I've been like, oh, okay, let me start reading again. I did not know Hunter x Hunter's manga was so... I'm gonna grab a pen and a paper and just start drawing random shit on paper, because to me, the way we've evolved with manga in general and manga artists in general, it feels like there's a little bit more effort. This shit legitimately looks like pen on paper, and it's just like, all right, here's Gon, here's Killua. Let me draw a couple more spikes to this man's hair, and let's call it a day. Not to insult the Tagashi's art, but I was reading it and I was like, wow, I can't believe that this is. This is it.
I definitely agree. I think that Tagashi's art style is something, I don't want to say that doesn't fit the times, because it's all black and white. Every artist has their own particular style. Like, I feel that you can tell that
I'm trying to see.
I feel like JJK kind of is like a very similar style to this. I mean, I think it's a little bit more cleaner,
right?
But it does give me that just pen to paper. Like, someone is legit just taking this, drawing this, and they're scanning it after, and they're just like,
Because I was reading it and I was like, okay, I haven't read the beginning, but I don't know if this man is like trailing off in health and this is the best that he can do.
I think the beginning. I'll say the stuff now. I think it looks better now than the beginning, and
in 2022 or.
I feel now it looks a bit better. But once again, I think that also. When he started this manga, what year did he start Hunter x Hunter? Manga?
I think it was like 1990 something. It's definitely like 1996 or something.
Yeah, so it's just like, I think
1998.
98. So between 98 and 2022, I'm sure that his style has become a little bit more refined and a little bit more. But I mean, and also with just how I'm sure things get scanned and turned digital. It's much different process than back then. But I don't know. I really enjoy it. I think that we're so used to. I think so. We're now so used to seeing things as clean or even as detailed as they are. Getting something that feels a little bit more rustic is really nice. I completely forgot how absolutely wordy these pages are. Something that I feel we're not outside of a couple series. I mean, I feel that dialogue now is so much quicker, so much more fast paced. But
what's the best art you've ever seen in a weekly manga? Just for your own thing, what's the best art? And then I'm gonna ask you, what's the best thing you've ever seen animated in terms of quality?
Okay, animated. I feel that's such an easy answer as Demon Slayer. I think it's just Demon Slayer has been able to. Also, I mean, I think Demon Slayer was also something that was manga wise was also something very rustic. I know people call it ugly, but I think it fit. Manga wise, the best art I've seen.
To me,
Vagabond. It has to be that for me.
Vagabond. I gotta look at this. First of all, the name is hilarious. What is Vagabond? Wait a minute.
So, Vagabond is.
Oh, this is wild and insane. Oh, this is detailed.
Yeah. So Takehiko Inoue. He is also the mangaka for Slam Dunk. This is his other manga that he has done, and I believe that this art is amazing. It's like you said, it's just so detailed, and it like I don't know. Oddly enough, like his art like evokes a lot of emotion for me. Like I don't know why reading his stuff and looking at his art, especially Vagabond, there's something about it that makes me really emotional, like when I read it.
Hey man, every week during this series, I know you hated this series, every week I read Dr. Stone. I was like, how does he have the wherewithal in him to keep up the level of quality with the artwork in this? Because Dr. Stone has insane quality. I mean, it's also very, very wordy if you want to do wordy things because they're explaining a lot. But I think the quality for that manga on a week-to-week basis, I was like constantly like the detail, the environments, the people, the fights, all that types of things. I was like, damn, this going in every chance you get. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I dislike Dr. Stone the story, not Dr. Stone the art. I think Dr. Stone the art is really good. Like I'm never gonna downplay. There's a certain respect I just have for, I mean, illustrators and people who draw. Like
sure.
I'm just like the fact that it takes so much. I love art a lot, and I think it just takes so much skill, so much like precision to draw the things that they do. But right. I will fully agree though that I think Dr. Stone's art was above levels of a lot of its own peers that it was writing along. I think MHA has, I mean, obviously really great art. I think Sakamoto Days, if you're going to talk about current things, Sakamoto Days is definitely my favorite. I love that style that he draws in.
So I feel like at some point we're definitely going to have a conversation about new titles that probably will become anime relatively soon. So I really wanted to go in more on Sakamoto Days, but I'm like, Sakamoto Days is like really at the top of the list in terms of things that are definitely should get animated, will get animated, and excited to see how it looks animated. But Sakamoto Days is very, very good. With that said, I mean,
another really great one I did just get greenlit is Dandadan.
No. We'll talk about.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about.
That's his own. Yeah. That's his own discussion at a later date. We'll talk all about it because I feel like it's a good discussion. as a primer to everybody to kind of see what's coming next in terms of anime, especially anime fans and shit like that. But it's a good primer to see where it's at. Speaking of anime in New York City, Anime NYC, man. Listen, it's in a couple weeks. They are having quite the time with tickets and making sure this reservation process, and I applaud them for. Did you see the latest email that went out of how they're going to do this?
No, I did not. So
okay,
what is the new update? You have to tell the fans, tell the people.
So those who are going to Anime NYC, which I imagine is not many people who listen to this podcast, but if you are, so they started a new reservation process because the old reservation. So they try to do first come first serve. Obviously, they have not seen anything like Sneakers app or anything, East Bay, Foot Locker, everything where every site crashes immediately because the demand of things are so high and everyone has access to the internet. So they are starting a raffle process. So from at least this week, they're going to start the autograph session ones and the panel ones. So from 6 p.m. to whichever days out of the week it is, from 6 p.m. to like 11:59 p.m., you'll be able to enter. And once you enter, you'll be randomly chosen if you will be able to attend the panel or not. For those that need to be reserved, for those who aren't reserved, it's just walk in and hopefully you get in.
Yeah, tough luck, Chuck. But so they're going the sneakers route.
Yeah, you gotta. It's the raffle route, which is just a better one, just in general.
I hit on my last sneakers raffle, so
what did you get?
Optimistic. I got the Why So Sad SBs.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, that's a raffle that you would need to win for sure. Man, all right. So for those who are looking forward to that and going to that, we definitely have that to look forward to. We need to probably come up. We probably also need to sit down with a game plan of how we're covering this fucking event.
Definitely.
Because
it's this year is so huge. I think what's so surprising and also really cool is how. I think last year when we went, you could definitely tell that there was a emphasis on getting popular American voice actors. We saw. Essentially, we saw everybody that has done anything. And when you have the voices of Goku and Vegeta there, what more can you have? But this year, I think you could tell that they're getting a lot of more talent from Japan, and they're getting these people who are coming to America for the first time. And I just think that's so cool, and I think that's such a as anime fans, like what a way to just kind of collide that Western with the East. I really enjoy that, man. I'm really excited.
Absolutely. And so there's going to be a lot of things going on. Hopefully we'll cover it. And speaking of anime cons, I'm doing segue. If you have not checked out our YouTube, we have pretty much coverage of Anime Weekend Atlanta. I got it right the first time. Anime Weekend Atlanta.
You did. Congratulations, because I was whooping your ass for a couple weeks.
AWA, I'm a big wrestling fan. AWA means other things. But Anime Weekend Atlanta, the homeboy AD, and also Versace Vegeta of Subsly Dubsly, went out there, interviewed a lot of voice actors, talked to the people, saw the people, was out with the people. The coverage is all up on our YouTube if you want to go check that out. And yeah, it's a fun time to be around the community. They had a fun time. And it shows for all the work that they did throughout this entire thing. And also they showed me about everything what happened. So that seemed pretty cool. So make sure, actually, if there's Anime Con in your city, it's not, any type of nerd stuff. Like I think the thing with nerd culture in 2022, I think the stigma of nerds and it being like weak and like whack has totally diminished. Because everything is so coming to the forefront with like anime is very popular nowadays. I think Marvel movies and DC movies have kind of like revitalized people's interest in comic books and all this other stuff like that.
Big facts. Listen, regardless how you feel about the Marvel Cinematic Universe or DC or whatnot, those movies have definitely brought this type of stuff. I mean, obviously, I feel for American comics is much different. I think American comic books have always kind of been I don't think it was always it's not as niche as anime, but it has definitely helped the whole kind of quote unquote nerd culture thing.
Well, yeah, it's because it's from here.
It's from here, but also
it's from here.
They're able to just tie a lot of like, essentially highly attractive, cool people to it. Like Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. Like it's just
right.
All these things have definitely pushed this stuff to the front. But no, I agree. Like it's just we're such in a different state where this stuff is not looked at as the same now. Also, shout out to cosplayers. I think that's another thing too. Just the popularity of cosplay and seeing it on.
I was gonna say that as well. Cosplayers become influencers. I mean, there's even so many content creators just in general. I mean, we had Turtle Quirk on last week, who himself now has, I don't want to say, I'm pretty sure he has over 500,000 subscribers on YouTube based on his channel, and he just does recaps, and that's so many for other, and they're just content creators, where they're cosplayers, where they make TikToks, where they make YouTube, where they make so many different other things, and it has expanded the normalcy of nerddom in a way. And now you even see like celebrities like, openly talking about, being nerds of this or following this series or stuff like that. And it's just very cool to hear, very cool to see. So I always say, like, if there's some sort of convention in your city, it doesn't have to be an anime one. It could be a comic one. It could be any kind of thing. I would say check it out. Like at Anime NYC, they're going to have, and I'm pretty sure you're going to love this one. They have the whole Gundam exhibition this year.
I know, I'm so excited for it. Like
Gundam Expo USA.
So they're already putting on the website like models that will already be there. So I'm already, my pockets are already hurting, but we will be there. I can't wait. They have some really great like limited stuff. So to my friends who are also gunplay people and people who do builds, holla at me. I'll be the mule for all of us.
Okay, all right.
But no, I mean, Twin Cities Con is next weekend, and I'll be there on the Saturday.
Come on now, 3
really
weekends
excited.
in a row.
3 weekends in a row. I'll be at Twin Cities Con on Saturday. I'm actually bringing Kaya. We already got her cosplay fit. So really excited with that. Like she's super excited too.
I love it. I love to hear it. So definitely, I mean, it's con season. I'm sure it's about to end. Holidays are coming up. So make sure you guys get in as much as you can and be able to enjoy as much as you can. And also stay masked up, because to be honest with you, the flu and all types of shit is back. COVID is probably lurking itself around the corner somewhere. So if you're going to be around a jillion amount of people, I mean, they already have their thing of like, you got to be masked to be in there, even though they don't like, I don't think anyone's going to put you in a headlock takeover if you don't wear it. But
okay, last thing on this topic. Last thing before we move on. You know what really helped anime?
What?
Fine women started cosplaying. Once people started saying baddies be watching anime, like it changed the whole thing. It changed the whole game. Once they were just like, dang, it changes it. I'm sorry, but when people see fine women like something, it makes it 10 times more popular.
No, obviously that's been the premise of like rap for the past 20 years. It's like, you know what's going to be fire if I have fine women in my music video who also enjoy my music, because then it was like, oh, okay, these guys will want to get these women, and to get these women, they'll want to enjoy my music. They want to listen to my music, and that's always been like the play for like rap and stuff like that. It's really the play for anything. But
you can get more specific. Like fine black women started doing this. Once fine black women is automatically cool. Everybody wants to do it.
Listen, I think just in general, we move the culture in any direction, and we in general, I think just black people in general make things cooler.
Definitely.
So
it ain't cool until we tap in.
Pretty much. So if we're not tapped in, I mean, I still haven't seen. I'm sure when we get our like Olympic bowler or Olympic thing.
Hey, dude, the who do you think you are? I am. He's the face of bowling forever for me.
No, but like once we get those, I mean, it's a wrap. It really
It,
is. It's going to be a wrap.
for
Um,
sure.
all right, so boom. This week, what we wanted to talk about, and I, I will say this: it is a main character discussion this week. We've talked for amount of time already, but we definitely you wanted to tap in about main characters because there's a lot of conversations around main characters. What did you see out there that inspired you to want to talk about this on this episode, my friend?
Um, really, it's just, I mean, for me right now, I think there's just a lot of great things running. Chainsaw Man, One Piece, Spy Family, My Hero Academia, Mob, Blue Lock, all these. I mean, this year in general too, it's just been a lot of great things, and I think that with Shonen, there was once a moment where people weren't really. I'm not gonna say they weren't feeling Shonen, but like there was something about the main character in the Shonen. It was like it felt very one note, some weird hair kid that, some weird hair kid that like wants to save the world or has this like big goal, and it's like this happy go lucky kid that, um, and obviously that's still something that you see. But I think that right now with all the stuff that's running, I think that it's like a really great variety of main characters. And I love seeing just like, obviously I feel Chainsaw Man and Denji, that's such a big one that we've talked about a couple times, but he's so different from Deku, who's so different from Mob, who's different than Anya, who I feel is the main character of Spy Family, who's different, and I know in all these things I fall into, I feel the shonen category is really cool to kind of see these variety of main characters. And also for them to feel so, um, like they feel so specific now to their show. Like
Right.
I feel for a really like for a time, like you could low key interchange like main characters.
We'll talk about it. Which
Um,
ones? Which ones do you say are
I
like the
mean,
most
I'll
interchangeable
say,
for the era? For the era.
I see like right now. I mean, I feel like
Well,
Deku
which
and
one? Go ahead. I would say which ones from the previous, so the evolution from then to now, like which ones in the past do you feel like, oh, they're very interchangeable in the way that they acted and the way that they carried themselves, to like the evolution now where they seem, like you said, very specific for their series?
I'm gonna be real. When you talk about like the big three, like the story could kind of work with either of them.
Mm,
Like I feel just like the mindset of just like these characters, it just they and just how they feel on screen, like they can fit, like they fit each other. They obviously they have their differences in terms of just like their own personal attitudes and whatnot, but I just feel like you can you can do One Piece with like Naruto. Like I personally feel you could. Like he can
you
fit that.
more than likely could. I feel
Yeah,
like
I know what I'm saying. Like you can do Naruto with Luffy. You can do like Bleach with Luffy, and put each, like you can like Loki interchange these things pretty well. Like once again, they have their own attitudes and stuff, but like I think now it's just it's like I feel now like you can't do Chainsaw Man with Deku. Like you
I
just
feel
can't.
I
But you
feel
can't do
like
Mob Psycho. You can't do Mob Psycho with Denji.
right. I feel like that stems from, I feel like a lot of it stems from probably the manga of the late 80s, early 90s. And especially when you talk about the big three, I think big three, in terms of while the character development, I believe, wasn't as up to par as we get now, because I think there's a lot of, I think characters and deep characters are thriving now because of, to be honest, more so the secondary characters in those animes,
Yeah.
the Vegetas, the Sasuke's, the all these other stuff like that. Whereas,
Yeah.
and I think the main characters, because I want to say like those late '90s or late early late '80s, early '90s type of vibe. I think what they wanted to do, rather than kind of like develop the character, was kind of like develop the set piece in action a little bit more. So I think we
Yeah.
got to step up in action like tremendously when it comes to stuff like the Dragon Ball Z, the Yu Yu Hakusho's, the Hunter x Hunters, and everything like that. Whereas I think even the characters themselves weren't fully fleshed out as they were. And now I think you can even see it with Dragon Ball Super now, right? Like you look at the difference between Goku back then, and Goku is like Goku's the cookie cutter main protagonist
Oh
of the
yeah, he
series.
is.
He's going to
He is
win.
the shonen god. Like he
He-
is. If there is somebody that you're modeling yourself or your character
right.
after, your man, it's him.
But you look at 2022 and 2020 through 2022. If you read the Dragon Ball Super manga, which I know most people aren't, there's a lot of development that he goes through, and actually, he's getting his ass kicked way more than he's ever had before. To be honest with you, granted, he still wins, for the most part, but he's getting his ass kicked way more than before because I think that they realize like you need a level of development. And the my main issue with main characters, which is why people usually love Vegeta more, which is why people love Sasuke more, is because they go through those ups and downs where the development is real. You get kicked down, and you have the ability to get kicked down. Whereas a main character, you can't really you you can't really build a story too much about the lame character really getting whooped too many times, or at least that was the option kind of like in the past. And I still even think now that's kind of the thing, but I feel like there's a lot more development within the character of like, um, either they have a past or there's
Yeah,
something better that they're fighting for or something along those lines, or they're developing their skill set to a certain level and it's really really hard to get to wherever the hell they want to at. I'm looking at Kaiju number 8, where it's that main character is so different. And if you haven't read Kaiju number 8, it's literally a story about a team fighting kaijus, and it's this main character, and the main character is different than most main characters in Shonen Jump because he's like
I think
30
he's
years old.
older. Yeah, I was gonna say he's 20, what, 8,
Yeah,
29.
yeah, he's practically in his 30s, and he's trying to be out here, and trying to accomplish his dream that he's always had as a kid, and he's finding it very, very hard, and that's somewhat relatable, even as an older person, and it also makes you look at something look at life in a different light, which is what I appreciate from stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but then, to be honest with you, I don't know, like a lot of trends with main characters as of late, I still feel like there's a thread of the same thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
definitely. I feel that there's just certain core elements to just being a main character to the shonen that you will always have. I think being OP is always one of them, or finding a new way to be the power scale level up is definitely one of them. But there's definitely elements still. I think also too what plays a big role in I think how characters are being written and um how they're being presented now is obviously because of online and social media, people are able to now kind of have a characters are able to have a cult following. Like you're able to find people who really latch on to characters, and that's a really a big thing of finding a character that you want to latch onto. And I think when you're writing a series, I mean, you always kind of want your main character to be the one that people latch onto. So I feel that there's just this emphasis of how can we make this character popular and different and and I feel that just plays I personally feel that plays a role when you see all these people now who you know are walking around with Anya profile pics, what I'm saying, or like Denji
right.
for one. I think right now is like another character right now, like he's gonna be probably the main example, right? Because he has
I
come on
think
the
it,
scene and
nah,
taken
I think
over.
I think you hit on a good point. And I think it's also important not only just to have a main character, because the main character used to be the driving force of this thing. It used to be Luffy, used to be Goku, used to be Naruto. But I think,
Yusuke, all
yeah,
the
yeah,
we can go
yeah,
all on.
but I really think Naruto, in a sense, kind of like, I don't want to say they changed the game a little bit, but they made it important for it to be not only just the main characters thriving and moving in a series, whereas you have these other characters where, like you said, that people can latch onto. You look at My Hero Academia. While you may not like Deku, you may prefer Todoroki, or you may prefer Bakugo over him. Whether now they've done a lot in Dragon Ball Super, where they've incorporated Vegeta a lot into the fold, where he is really the 1B. Goku's still very much so 1A, and the series is kind of like centered around his adventures, but he's definitely the 1B around this. And then you have JJK with Nobara and Megumi and Yuji.
Yeah, definitely. I say, listen, the 3 man setup, how they did it is you see it a lot. Um, yeah, you definitely see the 3 man setup how Naruto does it. I completely agree. Is that I think Naruto is able to expand their world and their setting
Mm-hmm.
so much and give you so many different characters and so many different character stories that
Mm-hmm.
all are intertwining and connecting. I say it all the time, just like they I like Naruto didn't deserve Itachi. Like that series did not deserve a character that fucking cool. But but no, I completely agree. Is I think she really, brought in this wave of how can in One Piece is another one I feel is just like how can we expand this world and expand this story far enough to where even these side characters have these side characters still have this like main character feel to them. They're not
Mm-hmm.
the main character, but they have this feeling of for some odd reason I feel all eyes need to be on this person right now.
You get enough story, you get enough like backstory, you get enough coolness. Like it to me, we talked about this when we did our One Piece episode at the end of Summer at Kame House, and kind of like unfurling Nami's story, and you immediately like get her and kind of like what she's been through and what she's and eventually it comes for Zoro and everybody else who's part of the pirate clan. Oh, shout out to also check out the One Piece film red review,
Review,
by the
yeah.
way.
Did
Check
you
that
see
out.
it? Did you go
No, I
see
did
it?
not see it. No, I did not see it. I've yet to be confirmed. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Usually I go see
You,
movies with
I
people.
feel that I feel that you would really enjoy it, even not as a One Piece fan, or like not even say not say you're not a One Piece fan, but as someone who hasn't like really seen all
I
One
couldn't
Piece,
say
what
I'm
I
a One
think
Piece fan. I
you
I've, I
wouldn't
have not
say.
I have not watched enough episodes yet.
No, I feel no. I listen. You watch 100 of anything, you're a fan. Like
Sure.
end of the
Yeah, yeah,
day,
no, you're right. You're right.
I feel that's listen. I give you 100 episodes, bro. Yeah, we're tapped in. Like we go together real bad if I watch 100 episodes. Um, but I think you would really enjoy it. I think you would really enjoy that movie.
I you know what? I'll definitely go check it out. I'll definitely go check it out. I mean, at this point, I have the time. So,
Yeah,
actually, I
you got
don't
that
have.
time.
I might not have the time. Now that I think about it, but no, I mean the main character thing has such evolved. All right, so I want to ask you this: what are like terrible traits about a main character that you hate? And you can name names and stuff like that, but like, what is a terrible trait about these main characters? Things that you hate?
I hate a over. Uh, I hate an overly positive main character, and I feel that obviously you know, you're, you're the protagonist. Like you, that's a part of their reason here is that they're supposed to bring something. I hate when they're just so happy and so like everything's gonna be great and I just there's something about seeing a character go through the struggle and like them like you could just tell like they kind of been through it like
Like
I
Naruto kind of got on my nerves for a while, to be honest with you. But
yeah he did like Naruto's not of like Asta I hated I still hate Asta like the fact that he's just like he's so loud and screaming and like I hate a main character that okay so I like airheadedness. I like characters that are just like who just are just airheads. They're a little dumb. They're a little
hmm
foolish. Luffy's one of them. He's an airheaded ass character, but like his airheadedness and his like foolishness doesn't take over like a scene or set like also like he's just it's like that aspect of him just takes over so bad it like overseeps out and you're just like
hmm
that's disgusting like that's just not cool like I don't know for me
let me ask you this question then. So, what do you think about? So, we had a little bit of talk. I actually wanted to get more into it last week, but he had to go very soon with Turtle Quirk. He talked
Yeah,
about Demon Slayer and how mid it
yeah.
was. The story of it was. What do you think about Tanjiro as a main character? Because to me, he is someone who doesn't really stand out as a character on his own, but I think is part of not only just I think it's a great story. I don't know what mid he talking about, but I think it's a
Hey,
great
listen, we
story.
right there with you.
I
I listen. I bypassed the mid part.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I think it's a great story, but he's not someone who particularly like stands out on his own as just other than like I'm doing this for my. He's pretty much like John Wick with a sword. Like I'm doing.
Yeah, he is.
Nah, it's a. What are your thoughts on like Tanjiro?
Um, I think he's a good main character. I think he fits with his story. Like once again, he positive? Yes, he has a very positive and like a but like he's like a sweet positive. Like he's a really sweet kid, and he's like he was dealt a very bad hand, like a horrible hand. But the
Hmm.
fact, and you can kind of see him go through the emotions of a kid who saw, no, saw his family slaughtered and has his sister turned into a demon, and um but he's really sweet, and like I think in the world that he is in and with the people that he is around, it's a glue thing that he does.
Hmm.
Because compare him to just the people in his group alone, or the pillars that he's around and work with, like his sense of like calmness and his sense of like duty and his sense of just trying to be as pure as possible, like that fits. And also, you once again, you saw him go through the struggle, you saw him go through the grind, you saw like that whole
Right.
like rewatching Demon Slayer, like he was in those mountains training what for 2 years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like,
for sure.
yeah, like you saw him like come out of that. You've seen him grow. They gave him the good old fashioned. He had long hair to start with, and he cut it. Like he gave him one of those moments.
So I think he's probably in a class of his own. Well, I don't know about class of his own, where it's really the moments that define the character as opposed to kind of just like the base of the character and its personality itself. Because Tanjiro doesn't have a personality that like jumps off the boards, but when you see his battles against upper moons, lower moons, standing alongside Hashira and pillars or whatever however you want to call them and stuff like that, like you really like, oh, okay, this guy has been through the thick of it, and that kind of defines him as a character. I'm trying to find what other characters, what's some characters that I
A
mean.
character that I do like is Anakoji from Classroom of the Elite.
Okay,
Um, like his character is so like emotionless and so stoic and so like, obviously a big thing of Classroom of the Elite is that everybody is like conniving and moving and scheming, um and
but is it
like
something where he like lacks personality? Because that's how I felt with what's that thing that fucking that AD Love last year that came out on anime, and I guess no one really watched it that much.
AD
The
likes
thing
a lot of weird things. Like
I don't want to say it's
he's still
weird.
arguing. No, he's
The
still
thing with
arguing
the
me
diamond
about Taco Diamond.
that they used to stab each other with, and you had to shoot like one, and there was a red arrow, and the thing with the angels.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh my god,
Platinum
Platinum End,
End.
yes, Platinum End. So I thought the main character in that series was the lamest character of all of like all, and it wasn't a great character cast to begin with. I think that
Hmm.
one is more so like the villains more take the main stage over anything else. So I don't think it was that much. Did it actually end? Huh. I guess it did end. Look at that. But nah, I thought he was very like I think they try to play a little bit of the stoic thing and try to say like his experiences, but we're also in 2020. Like at some point, everybody the main the bare minimum for a main character is that someone in their family has passed and they're trying to move on in their lives with them. And I feel like just the story itself um, wasn't good enough, and then the main character. thing. Just he was
No,
just
I
kind of
do
whack
agree.
in my opinion.
I think there's a way to do the like stoic, mysterious character, but still either A, make them look really fucking cool, um or B, like, even though they're emotionless, like give them something that is like, okay, so like in Classroom of the Elite.
I think they usually in those situations you need someone to play off of
Yeah,
because
or give them somebody to play off of just like who
right
kind of
because
feel who fills that like emotional role. So
right
like
and
no, go
no go
ahead.
ahead.
No, I was just saying though, but like that's why I like Koji from Classroom of the Elite, which also is just an amazing show regardless. But as stoic as he is, the characters around him are very emotional, or I kind of feel those emotional gaps around him. But even at the end of this season, you start to see him question a lot of things. I mean, obviously, you see throughout why he is the way he is when you start learning his backstory, but you start to see him though question even his own like why am I like this, like why are people just no he's very much been trained to use people as pawns, and and very much trained to see kind of like humans as like this you know no disposable or expendable thing where you can kind of just use them however, but like you can see him start questioning that ideology of do I need to do I need to be like this or do I need to act like this, and I think once you start giving them moments where they start even second guessing or questioning their own kind of like um motives, that that helps them as a character because you're like, okay, you obviously see there's room for growth. Like when you have a character that's so stoic where you're just like they feel very stuck in their ways and very like they're just gonna be stubborn like this throughout. That's one thing. But it's like when you're able to give them a space or a place to be like, okay, although I am like this, like but is there a different way, or but is there is there a different way of thinking that I can adopt?
So Chainsaw Man. We're about 4 episodes in. I think yes, we're about 4 episodes in. Have you watched all the
Yes,
4 episodes?
I have
Are you,
watched all four.
oh, okay, I didn't know if you were a weekly watcher or a binger.
Yeah, I'm a so I very much am a binger. I am doing better in terms of weekly watching for this show because I want to, I have to be up to date on things and know what's going on. I try not to miss. See, my thing is, it's a slippery slope for me. That
mm,
if I miss one, I'm done. If I miss one
mm.
episode, it's like it's a slippery slope. Next thing you know, I look up and the whole season's been completed.
Nah, that's not the same for me. Usually I miss one. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch two next week. So that's kind of like with Mob Psycho, to be honest with you. Like Mob Psycho, I'm not caught up, but I was like, oh, okay, I have like 2 episodes that I need to catch up on.
I think Mob's a great character. I think Mob's an amazing main character.
What and I think it's because there's a earnestness about him that is very dope, and you want to love him like but also there's a he has a lot of different things going on. I don't know what is it about. I won't say Mob isn't like boring, because I think the boring shonen thing is like, oh, we're gonna fight and we're gonna fight some more and then we're gonna fight some more after that, and I think that's the boring shonen thing.
No,
um
because he's not a boring. I don't think he's a boring character at all. And that's my thing. Is that once again, there is a way to do something with the character who doesn't lack much emotional, like who lacks emotional expression or very expressionless or very like. There's a way though to make them um like you can play off that, and also like he's not emotionless. He's like his facial expressions are, but like you really watch his stories and when he talks and has those inner monologues, like on season two when in the beginning, like that first little arc where he fights he takes the possessed girl and he possesses the girl and fights the spirit that's inside of her, and
mhm,
he takes away Mob's powers and like has Mob go through like life if he wasn't a psychic. Like
mm.
you see that like Mob is very in tune with his own like suffering, or like is very in tune with how he wants to show up in this world. And granted, it may not show up expression wise on his face, but he's still like they're still able to make that come through in other ways.
Absolutely. And I think I think a lot of the stuff, and you bringing up Mob is a great, definitely a great main character in these series. I think when you bring up like Denji as well, we haven't seen much of Denji. I mean, unless you read, you've seen plenty of Denji.
Yeah.
But he's also someone who I do think there's a little bit of earnestness, but I'm I'm looking forward to his journey because it feels like it's so different than anybody else, and it feels like there's a level of you want to see the best for this person. Like he's started at rock bottom and now he's trying to pick himself up, and you want what's the best, but then there's also like there's a level of sympathy as well that you have for him, or empathy. Maybe it's empathy. Um or maybe it's a little bit of both. Um Especially when you know kind of like all the shit that's lurking around him. Um but I think Denji is, at this point, I don't know if I would call him a great main character. Um,
You got to give him some time to breathe first. I
yeah,
don't. He's a good main character right now. I think you got to. I mean, for the anime, you got to, and obviously read the manga. He's a he's a main character that fits the story. He's also benefits from the fact that Fujimoto is just an amazing writer. Like,
have you ever, has the main character for you? This is probably our last question, and we'll dip off. Has the main character for you in a series ever been the best character in a series?
yeah, I think. I mean, Yu Yu Hakusho for sure. Cowboy Bebop.
Mm. Mm.
Uh, Outlaw Star.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these are all things I've been saying I've been watching.
So
I
90s
think
shit.
a lot of 90s shit. But I mean, I'll also say though, I very much I'm a side character junkie.
Mm.
Um,
You know, I would say
I
Aaron Yeager is the best character.
Oh yeah, Aaron for sure is the best character in Attack on Titan. Anya is the best character in Spy Family. Um, Trying to think. I don't know if I'll say he's the best character, but I really do love Tanjiro as a character. Um, Boji from Ranking of Kings, I think he's a really good main character too.
Mm,
He's just
yeah,
sweet.
no, you're right.
Like it's cool. It's cool. Like I there's a couple characters like tropes that I like. I love the airhead. I love like the sweet human being. Like I love when a character is just like really sweet. Like that's such a good fun thing to watch. Aoashi Ayo, he's a really great main character in that series too.
Okay, all right. Um, all right.
Oh, I
Well,
didn't even ask you like you didn't even did you even say what trait that you hate in a main character? What's your
I
favorite and least favorite trait?
my favorite trait is I really like earnestness. I really like just being kind of like, I don't know, dedicated to something and then accomplishing it. I think that's pretty easy. The one I hate most is being too cool for school. Usually, if it's like a main character, that it is indeed no, I just, a broody, like, main character. Like, it could be fine for a side character, but not a main character. And also, I hate main characters that are boring. Like, to me, um, the main character in Tower of God is boring as fuck, and I'm still confused about why people
Tower of
love.
God is a really bad. It's a really bad show. It's a
I
bad
think it's a
manga.
terrible show. Not all right, terrible. Maybe terrible, the connotation of
No,
the word too,
no,
but I
no,
think it's
no,
very
no.
bad.
Say it, say it.
And I
You are
think
absolutely right.
people should be ashamed of themselves by getting caught up in the story. And I think they get caught up in the story because they probably relate to it more than often. Of trying to get this girl, and then this girl eventually like just tells you kick rocks, and then you're like, I'm rooting for this guy because fuck that bitch. But
Yeah, I hate Rachel.
yeah, and stuff like that. So maybe that's the kind of main thing, but I don't buy it. Like, I think Tower of God is trash. Um, and
No, it's horrible. I
everything
think
is,
Tower of
all the
God is so
characters in that
bad.
series are derivatives of other characters in other series. Um, So that's why I kind of like it. So a boring main character is for sure something that I hate. Um, yeah, yeah, man. Listen, main character talk. Be the own main character in your lives, except don't be boring and don't
Yeah,
be
don't be
too
too
cool.
cool for school. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. And don't be out here screaming and being just
Oh yeah, definitely don't do
aloof.
that. Don't
Yeah,
do
don't be
that.
out here. And
Um,
have weird hair though. All main characters have weird hair.
that is very true. No, actually, I think that was yeah. You got to have a certain hair color. It's got to be distinctive. I
You
think. Um,
they all got weird hair, man. It's always in their face. It's always like just
or a
messy.
color.
It's always a weird
It's
or a color.
yeah.
Is there a certain hair color you like? You're like, I like it on
Nah.
main character.
Well, I
Nah.
like Senko from Dr. Stone. I like his hair. Other than that, um no, I don't have a particular one way or
Sakuragi's my
another.
nigga, bro. Sakuragi's my guy with the red hair and slam dunk. Then he
Ooh.
cuts it off and he got the red buzz. He had the red buzz. He had the red all even, but he had the red pompadour before. He has the
Consistency. I love it.
yeah, man. It's great.
Um
Goku got some weird hair too,
Goku
but
has
they all
very
have
weird
it.
hair.
All of them
The
have weird
staple of
hair.
late 90s, early 2000s anime is you got to have weird hair.
Got to.
Um well, thank you guys for tuning in. Of course, another episode of The Lookout. Again, check out our coverage of AWA on our YouTube. Check out our coverage of pretty much everything on our YouTube. I mean, we talk to a lot of different people, so make sure you just subscribe to the YouTube in general. Go listen to our review. If you've seen One Piece Film Red, check out our review. It's on the feed. It's also on YouTube. So if you want to check that out as well, it's definitely there and everywhere you can kind of listen to podcasts and or watch stuff on YouTube. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else?
Catch us at Anime NYC. I mean, obviously, you got 2 more weeks, but man, listen, pull up on us. The Lookout Boys will be there, and we're very kind human beings, and we cool. You might get roasted, I don't know, but it's gonna be
Hey,
out of love. Hey, man, pull up on us though.
hey, this is a very unpopular anime opinion and stuff because no one watches Pokemon the anime but me. But I hope Ash wins because he is currently in the finals of the Pokemon World
Can
Championships
he
with
double
Pokemon.
up? Can he double up?
What do you
I mean,
mean?
he got one already, right?
But they're all world champions at this point, so he's in a tournament with all the world champions. So I'm just hoping he becomes the world champion of
What's the
champions.
over under on his?
Um,
What's the betting sheet saying?
he's it's probably still a safer bet to bet on Leon since he's the undefeated one. But and Ash has been defeated so many times. But you know,
I might.
I'm
You know what?
hoping.
I'll put some money on Ash. I know it. Why not? Why not go for the big payday?
Hey
Leon's too
man,
safe.
absolutely.
I feel the odds are kind of a little crazy.
Well, listen. By next week we'll figure out who's won or who's not. But until then, of course, you can subscribe to The Lookout on RNC Radio. You can also follow us on Twitter, and yeah, you know, continue to binge more during the great season of anime. Continue to watch more anime, read more manga, drink more water, and all the other cute shit that AD says. We'll see you
I
guys
know.
next week. Take
We should
care.
just clip. We should just clip in that part.
We should.